Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Hi, it's Christina from Be in the World Yoga. Sorry for the delay. We're live now. I'm just going to go on my phone here, check in with you guys, and even just to see what I look like over here. Oh, hey, Marilyn. So everything is delayed on my phone, by the way, so if I respond to you late, it's because there's a delay. So I hope you are all doing well, and Marilyn, happy Mother's Day. And to all the moms out there, I hope you had a fantastic Mother's Day. I know it was a rough one this year, possibly for some of us, but I'm sure we all learned how to make the most of it so that it can be, a joyous day for us. So, to all the moms out there, thanks for all you do. I'm a mom too, but and thanks for just bringing love and awesomeness to this world. So, a little late, happy Mother's Day. Today we're going to be doing some yoga. We'll try it out today. We're going to be doing hip openers today. So, hip openers are specifically why I chose this one. Okay, backwards. What I was going to say is hip openers helps to balance your emotions. So if you're having some, emotional stuff going on right now,
Can you check if the your mic is on?
I can hear myself right here.
I know, but it's like I think it feels like it's coming from here.
Oh, okay. I have to check to see if my mic is on. Yeah, it's on.
It's on.
Testing 1 2. This always looks very professional.
Yeah. Plug and plug this.
So just one moment here. Luckily, it hasn't started yet. Let's see. Even though we have our friends arriving. Okay. Yeah, it does sound like that, huh? And I look very blurry here. And now I'm crooked.
That's just
Look.
the
Okay. It looks like I'm wearing way too much. I look scary here. Let's see. We're gonna get sound now. Okay. So we're going to get into hip openers today. And hip openers are really good to help you balance out your emotions. So if you're feeling, you know, kind of crazy emotions going in different places right now, it'll be a practice for that, for just kind of balancing out your emotions. And I would also recommend, because this will be kind of like a stripping away and, releasing of emotions. If there is any kind of emotions that come out, be there with it. And also just to drink lots of water today after class and pay attention to how you're feeling, and just give yourself love, because honestly, sometimes the one thing that we really need to do is just change the way we're thinking and reverse any kind of negative thinking to something more positive. For instance, if I were to, get on myself about the beginning of this yoga class being a little bit problematic, and I were to say, oh, that shouldn't have happened, if I'm not going to do that to myself for the rest of the day. Once this class is over, I'm going to say, cool, we had a great class, and I'm going to go throughout my day. So my point is hanging on to things that cause, sadness or emotions inside of you, it just won't serve you. So there's no point really to do that kind of thing. Of course, I'm talking about, general stuff, like simple stuff. But so just thinking about taking care of yourself in your mind, in your heart, in your body, throughout the day, and being okay that this is the time to actually do that and to really pay attention to that, instead of having our regular lives where we go out and we do this and that. It's fine. We're here. We're focused on ourselves. We're focused on taking care of ourselves. This time can also be an opportunity to come up with a new hobby. You know, what are the things that you've actually wanted to do, but you haven't done? So if you haven't started doing that yet, you know, there's still time. Also, you know, I'll just tell you a couple of things that I've done. You know, just with the spare time, I've done some more art projects. I'm still learning my sign language every day, which I'm pretty much obsessed with. And I can't think of anything else right now, but there's a bunch of stuff that you can do to just, you know, occupy the time. Yoga, for instance. Really getting deep into your practice, for instance. So, but we're going to get started here. Less babble, more yoga. And if you would like to if you have blocks, grab some blocks, or maybe you need something that looks like the shape of a block because you don't have blocks. You could take a shoe box. Those are helpful too. You can sit on that for the beginning of our class right now. And I'm just going to shut my phone off. And this is my class. This is my water. Get your water handy. Have no socks on your feet if you can. That would be really helpful so that you can really connect with the earth and feel your feet working for you through each pose. Also, you don't want to slip with your socks on either. Another option is to have a chair handy. If you're someone who has a little bit of balance, is uneasy about their balance, then you can take a chair and you can hold on to the chair throughout some of the poses and just move the chair around whenever you need to. This will be a beginnery hip opener yoga, but we will be moving a lot. So take time throughout this practice to tune into your body and to tune into your mind and your breath to see if you're moving a little bit faster than you feel comfortable with, and then slow it down. You don't have to go to the pace of what I'm doing or what you think you should be doing. Just listen to your breath, tune in, and really just connect with what it is that you need right now in each moment. Okay? So let's get started. We're going to come into our nice comfortable seat. You can sit in a cross-legged position. If you prefer, you can sit on a chair. That might be more comfortable for you. You could sit on a block or that shoe box if you have one, or maybe even grab a pillow and come into your seat. Sit up nice and tall, softening at the hip creases. If you're sitting in a chair, connect your feet to the earth. If you're sitting on the floor, feel the connection of the legs connecting with the ground. What part of your body is touching something? Feel that connection. And then from here, notice your pelvis. Of course, we've been talking about if your pelvis was a bowl, and you wouldn't want the water to pour out by tilting the pelvis forward. You wouldn't want the water to pour backwards. So you want to have a nice neutral bowl or a neutral pelvis so that the imaginary water can stay in that bowl, the imaginary bowl. So from here, taking a nice inhale as you find that neutral pelvis, exhale, soften the shoulders, soften the hip creases. So the belly feels a little bit engaged here, not squeezing back, but just a little bit engaged, a little ignited. And from here, inhale, crown of the head reaches up towards the sky as if someone's pulling you up with a string, and the spine lifts up. We're creating space between the vertebrae for those beautiful vertebral discs, those beautiful cushions to inflate a little bit more, to find some room. So sitting up nice and tall, start to draw your shoulders back. Shoulder points in line with the hip points. So not really far back, letting that chest come forward, just guiding the shoulders out to the side, broadening the upper back and broadening the chest. And relax your feet. Close your eyes now. Have your hands gently faced down or face up if you'd like to ignite some energy. Grounding is with the palms face down. And start to notice your breath. We'll take 3 cleansing breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling a nice sigh out through the mouth. Take a breath in. Right out through the mouth. 2 more of those. Fill the breath, fill the body up with air. Release it. Let everything melt. 1 more. Beautiful. And on that last exhale, allowing yourself to soften into your seat here, becoming present. Where are you right now? Notice the touch of your body to whatever it's connecting to right now. Notice the space around you, how the temperature feels. What are the sounds around you? And then coming back in towards the self, how do you feel? What are your desires? And checking in with the breath. Notice the pace of the breath, the inhalation and the exhalation. Notice the depth. Are the breaths short or are they long? Just observing here without judgment, being a silent observer. And staying here for another moment, noticing the breath. Soften the muscles of your face. Soften the jaw, the eyelids. Soften the forehead, the ears, the crown of the head. Soften your throat, the sides of the neck, and the back of the neck. Releasing the shoulders. Take a nice inhale. Let the crown of the head lift you up. Nice space. Exhale. Let the shoulders soften again. Let the hip creases soften. And starting to bring your attention to your hips. Sending some nice breath there. So taking a nice inhale. Sending your attention and your awareness to your hips. And exhale, releasing anything that might feel locked inside of them. 2 more times. Sending the breath deep into the hips. Exhale, releasing anything that feels locked. Any nervous energy, any sadness. Take another breath in. Any tension, exhale it out. Beautiful. Inhale your palms together at heart center. Let's open our practice with the sound of Om. Taking a breath in for the Om. Beautiful. I think I heard you on that one. And from here, start to flutter your eyes open. I like to take my thumbs to my third eye just to bow in towards myself, giving myself love, respect, kindness, gratitude for my higher power. Beautiful. And then if your eyes are closed, open them up again. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky, clasp your hands, and turn the palms out. Maybe looking up towards the sky. Take a nice inhale. Beautiful. And exhale, soften the hands down, clasp them behind the back. Roll your shoulders back and lift up your heart. You can reach your knuckles down towards the earth. Maybe look up to the sky. Take 3 breaths here, drawing those shoulder blades together to open up your chest. You can continue to guide the belly towards the back of the spine. Another thing about today's class is that it is going to be one of those classes that help with the low back. So opening that up, we've been sitting down a lot perhaps, or even if you're in a car, you can get very tight in the hips. Beautiful, and many things. Releasing the shoulders here. Gorgeous. Take your block out towards the front of your mat if you have it. We'll do a little side stretch here. Take your hands out to the side. Inhale. Left arm, I'm mirroring you, reaches up and over. Maybe the forearm comes to the ground. Inhale, look up to the sky. Nice little stretch here. Beautiful. And exhale. Take that hand down. Other side. Inhale. Up and look up to the sky. Beautiful. Exhale. Great. And we're going to come into tabletop position. So when you get there, make sure your wrist creases are lined up with the front of your mat. You're going to spread your fingers away from each other and take the tips of the fingers, rounding them into the mat. Check that your knees are comfortable, either hips distance apart or maybe a little bit more if that feels better. And then notice my belly, if you can, coming down here, the low back kind of making a slouch or a curve here, and then start to draw the belly towards the back of the spine here. Press the hands into the floor and notice the spine is nice and long. Crown of the head reaches away from the tailbone away from the crown of the head. And if you would like, right now I have my toes tucked. That's how I like it. You can untuck your toes if you like. This actually feels nice too. So just getting into the idea of releasing, I am going to untuck my toes to create this kind of idea of releasing any locked energy in the hips. Pressing the hands into the ground, take an inhale. Beautiful. And exhale, we're going to round the spine to do a little cat-cow here. Let the tailbone reach down towards the floor. The chin can come to the chest. Inhale, roll the shoulders back. Peel the heart open. Tailbone reaches up to the sky. Exhale, rounding the spine, pulling the belly button towards the back of the spine. Inhale, draw the shoulders back. Peel your heart open. Push your chest between the shoulders here. Exhale, round, feeling the spine and connecting breath to movement. Inhale, forward again. The heels of the hands can help you reach back, letting the chest come through so you can guide the heels of the hands back towards you. And exhale. Pressing the hands into the ground, lifting up the upper spine. Inhale. Beautiful. And exhale, just come straight back to tabletop position. We're going to take a half child's pose here, taking the knees to the ground. You could take your a little bit wider than hips distance if you want, or keep the knees together, and then take your belly on top of your thighs. Take your hands out in front of you. Arms are extended. Inhale and exhale. Forehead comes down to the ground. Take a few breaths here. Opening up in the armpits. Beautiful. One more breath in. Gorgeous. We're going to inhale to tabletop position. And walk your hands forward for puppy pose. I like to do this stretch. It opens up the latissimus dorsi, the lats, spreading your fingers away from each other, and take your forehead down to the ground. You could start to round the tailbone down towards the floor. So guiding the tailbone down that way. Taking a few breaths. Maybe your chin comes forward if you feel very flexible in the upper body. Beautiful. And start to walk your hands back underneath the shoulders. and coming into a tabletop position. Step your, actually balance your weight onto your right knee and reach your left leg back behind you. Flex that foot, meaning that the toes are going to be pointed down, and make sure the hips are level with each other. Beautiful. Inhale, right arm is going to reach in the opposite direction. If that feels very tricky to you, keep both hands on the ground. Start to pull the belly towards the back of the spine. Keep the back of the neck nice and long, and we're going to take 5 breaths here. Inhaling 1. Continue to breathe. One more breath here. Actually, one more breath here. Beautiful. Exhaling. Hand comes down to the floor. Knee comes down to the floor. Other side. So if you notice, I'm not really counting for you today. I'd like for you to count your own breaths today. Just so you can get to the habit of counting and being comfortable with your breath. So again, balancing the weight now on the left knee. Reach your right foot back behind you. Start to take the tailbone down towards the floor. That's going to help you pull the belly towards the back of the spine. And then from here, flex the back toes. Inhale, left arm reaches and extends. Crown of the head reaches. Take a few breaths here. 5 breaths, inhaling. And exhale. That's 3. 2 more. Exhale, into the floor, knee to the floor. Beautiful. Let's come into our first downward facing dog. Tuck your toes here. Press the hands into the ground and start to lift the hips up and back behind you. I'm just going to make sure my shirt's tucked in. Don't want to give you guys a show here. And from here, start to pedal out through the feet. Let one heel come down at a time. Beautiful. You may notice maybe you're very much putting a lot of weight into your arms here. If you can start to think about sending the hips up and back to get the weight towards the back of the feet a little bit more. And don't worry, you'll get there. It takes some time. One heel at a time. And if you've gotten there before but you're not getting there today, don't be hard on yourself. It's okay. It takes, sometimes we start over and it's cool and we learn from that. It's fun to become a beginner again. Beautiful. And let's come high on the balls of the feet. Press the hands into the ground. What's that? The sound. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. So sorry about that. Sound got a little wonky again. So from here, we're going to start to pedal out through the feet here. Okay, we're coming back to center. We've already done that. So from here, pressing the hands into the ground, send your hips up and back. Bend your knees, soften them. And start to send the hips towards the heels of the feet. Take a few breaths. Let your head dangle here between the arms. Beautiful. And your feet should be hips distance apart, and make sure that the ankles are not splaying inwards or going inwards. They should be either right in line with your knees, or maybe they pivot out a little bit. No problem. Another inhale and exhale. Heels to the ground. We'll take 3 breaths in the down dog here. Pressing your hands into the ground to lift those hips up and back. Take an inhale and exhale. Knees to the ground for child's pose. Take another rest. We're going to take our hands back behind you. Let the shoulders melt away from each other. Forehead comes to the ground. So now if you're having a little neck problem, if you feel like your head is jamming here, maybe your hips are high, take your hands one on top of another and just lay your head there, right on top of your hands. 2 more breaths here. Beautiful. Inhale the arms up overhead. We're going to make our way into downward facing dog again. Tuck your toes. Press your hands into the ground. Lift the knees and send those hips up and back behind you. Shake out your head here, loosening up any tension here. Take a few breaths. 2 more. 1 more. And you have the option to walk the hands back towards the feet nice and slow, or slowly walk the feet towards the hands. Coming into a nice forward fold, letting the upper body hang over the lower body. So bending your knees, softening them, let your belly come to the top of your thighs, and then we'll start to really sink the hips here, letting the head hang down. So we're just kind of relaxing our belly on top of our thighs. Make sure there's no scrunchie in the back of the neck. Scrunchie meaning that there's a line creating this scrunch in the back of your neck. Beautiful. And then from here, start to straighten out your legs here. We're going to roll up the spine vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep your chin tucked into your chest. You're rolling out as if you were to roll out a red carpet here. Or roll out a yoga mat. Roll those shoulders back. Crown of the head is the last thing to come up. Gorgeous. Coming into mountain pose. So you can take a sip of water right now if you need to take a little mini break. Otherwise, let's meet at the top of our mat in mountain pose. Take your feet hips distance apart, and you're going to gaze forward. Beautiful. Now start to soften your knees. Lift your toes up and spread them. Now this can take some work, a lot of focus and concentration to get the toes to spread. Eventually, one day you're going to notice your big toe moves away from the rest of the toes, and you're going to be like, whoa, it's happening. Bring the ball of your feet into the ground, pressing it down, the heels of your feet into the ground, and lift up through the inner arches of your feet. Start to lift up the kneecaps, engage the tops of the thighs, making them nice and strong. Then from here, you'll notice that the tailbone starts to lengthen and the belly comes towards the back of the spine. So you're going to create a nice lift here with the spine, crown of the head reaching up to the sky. Take an inhale, lift those shoulders up to the ears, and exhale, soften them down. You're going to feel the shoulder points moving out to the sides here, creating space in the upper back and creating space in the chest. Start to guide the fingertips down towards the floor. And pressing your feet down, start to feel the line of energy as your feet root to the ground and the crown of the head extends up to the sky. Beautiful. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. You can look at the hands. And exhale, palms come right down through center line, right down the middle of the body here. You could tell I haven't been talking a lot lately. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Palms come together. And exhale, right down through center line. One more time. Exhale. Gorgeous. And moving along with this, inhale, exhale, hinge at your hips and forward fold. You can start to soften your knees, coming into a nice forward fold. Let the head hang. Knees can be bent here. Beautiful. Bring your fingertips to the ground, or if you'd like, you can place them on blocks or on your shin. Inhale to a flat back, lifting up halfway. Crown of the head reaches in one direction, tailbone in the other. Exhale, hinging at your hips to forward fold. Release the elbows. Release the head and the neck. Beautiful. Inhale, lengthen. Lift up your heart. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, fold. You can take your blocks to the side, and either your legs are starting to straighten or you still keep them bent. Let your hands hang onto the floor, and we're going to take the tailbone down towards the floor as we roll up the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, straightening the legs. Keep the chin tucked into the chest. Roll the shoulders back. Crown of the head's the last thing to come up. Beautiful. Moving along. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Beautiful. Inhale to flat back. And exhale, hands to the ground. Start to bend your knees and step your right foot back behind you. Now you may need a blanket here or a towel or a pillow because we're going to take the knee onto the ground. Start to draw the thighs in towards one another and take your hands to your hips as you rise on up. Beautiful. So the knee is starting to move over the ankle. We're even going to get it past the ankle soon. Start to feel the front foot pressing into the ground. You could spread through the toes. The back toes can either be pointed if the knee is hurting, or you can tuck it to energize the back leg. Taking a nice inhale, long spine, and exhale, start to soften the hips forward. Beautiful. Press in through the front foot, rise on up again. Tailbone reaches down towards the floor. Inhale and exhale, soften the hips forward, opening up that right thigh. Inhale, press it up. Beautiful. One more time, tailbone reaches down, exhale, soften in the hip here. Beautiful. Press through the front foot, rise on up. Gorgeous. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky this time, and exhale, soften the hips forward. If you want, you could still keep the hands on the hips. Maybe take the hands on the front thigh there. Beautiful. Inhale, rise on up. 2 more times. Exhale. Maybe palms come together. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale. Rise on up. Take the hands down to the floor. And we're going to press both hands into the ground and step both feet back to plank pose. Reach through your back heels. Take an inhale. Long spine. Exhale, knees to the floor. Lower your belly down and point the toes. Tailbone reaches down towards the ground for cobra. Elbows hugging the side body, and inhale. Peel the heart up off the ground. You may not go very high right now. Take an inhale. Tuck the toes. Exhale. Press the hands into the ground. Come onto the knees. Downward facing dog. Shake out the head here. Take a few breaths. And if you would like, you can take a little stop in child's pose. You could take a little stop for a water break too. Beautiful. One more breath. Beautiful. Now you can either inhale that right leg up to the sky, or if you want, just step it forward. We are going to step it forward, right between the hands, and take the left knee down to the ground. So you might want to have a little something, a little cushion there. Walking your way up through the knees. Beautiful. Take your hands onto your hips. Inhale, long spine, tailbone reaches down towards the floor. Press in through your right foot and feel your thighs squeezing in towards one another. Take an inhale. Exhale, soften into that front hip. Tailbone reaching down. Inhale, press up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, soften. Beautiful. Feeling that left hip open. Inhale. Beautiful. Exhale. Let's inhale. The arms reach up to the sky if you would like, or you could keep the hands down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Hands to the floor. And this time we're going to step, bringing our weight onto the right foot to step both feet forward into a nice forward fold here. Beautiful. Hanging over the legs here. You can have the knees bent. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, fold. Soften your knees. Inhale, arms are going to reverse swan dive, reaching out and up overhead. Palms come together. I like to bring my palms to the third eye. It helps me if I feel a little bit dizzy when I've gotten up. Maybe sometimes I feel like I've gotten up too soon. Beautiful. And then take your palms to heart center. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And that usually will happen to me because I have a tendency to have a lower or normal blood pressure. So I can get lightheaded. But now they're saying low blood pressure is normal. So I don't know. From here, coming into your mountain pose to get again. Taking those feet hips distance apart, press the balls of your feet into the ground, heels of the feet into the ground, and spread those beautiful toes. Start to engage the thighs here, lifting up through the kneecaps, long spine. Inhale. Exhale, soften those shoulders. Beautiful. Inhale, arms reach out and up overhead. And exhale, forward fold over the legs. Nice long spine. Let your head go here. Inhale to flat back. Lengthen your spine and exhale, hands to the ground. This time, left foot reaches back behind you, knee to the ground. We're going to come right up onto the knee. And if you want, you keep your hands on the knee, or 3 times we'll do this. Lift your arms up to the sky. Inhale and exhale, opening up into that left hip. Inhale, rise up. Palms can come together if you like. Exhale. Inhale. Beautiful. And exhale, we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. Hands can be up or down. Inhaling 1. So each inhale and exhale is a round. Try to keep the breath nice and slow. Feel those thighs guiding in towards one another. Feel the front big toe pressing into the ground. And one more nice breath. Beautiful. Exhale, take those hands down to the floor and bring both knees back. Pressing up and back to downward facing dog this time. Shake out your head. And if you'd like, you can stay in downward dog. You can go to child's pose, or you can come with me and do a vinyasa. Inhaling forward to plank pose. Exhale, knees to the ground, belly down. Inhale, peel the heart up, cobra pose. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Beautiful. And we'll all meet in downward dog. When you're ready, take 3 breaths here. Start to turn the top part of your arms outward. So keeping the middle fingers pointed towards the front of the mat, you're going to still externally rotate the top part of your arms to create space between your shoulders. Beautiful. And if you like, you can just step the leg forward, or inhale, left leg reaches up to the sky, and exhale, step it forward between the hands. Right knee comes down to the ground. Hands onto the knee to make your way up. We'll come straight up again. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, soften the hips forward. Tailbone reaching down. Press through the front foot to rise up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Beautiful. Exhale. Gorgeous. And we'll stay here for 5 breaths. Inhaling 1. I like to keep my hands, bring my hands together and make kind of like this Charlie's Angel pose. Beautiful. Inhale and exhale. Hands to the floor. We're going to lean onto that front foot and step both feet together in that gorgeous forward fold. Inhale to a flat back. And exhale, fold again. You can soften those knees. Inhale, arms reach out and up overhead. Palms come together. Exhale, prayer down the center line. Beautiful. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. And exhale, hinging at the hips, coming to a nice forward fold. Start to bend your knees a lot here. Soften the hips down. Gorgeous. And inhale, straighten the legs again. Beautiful. Inhale. And exhale. And from here, inhale, reverse swan dive, hands reach out and up overhead, palms come together. Exhale, prayer down the center line. Now coming into Utkatasana, which is called awkward chair pose, or I like to call it air chair pose. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky, pressing your feet into the floor. And exhale, sending your hips down, bending at the knees. You can bring the feet together, toes together, heels slightly apart, and guiding the knees towards one another. Or you can keep the feet hips distance apart, whichever one feels good. You can maybe reach the arms forward here, sending the hips down. Beautiful. Inhale, rise on up again. Exhale, the hands down. And we're going to flow from standing to Utkatasana a few times here. So inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Exhale, send the hips down. Beautiful. Inhale, hands come down. Exhale. I'm going to try and make this more of a flowy thing. Inhale, Utkatasana, arms reach up, sitting in Utkatasana. Exhale, rise on up. Beautiful. Inhale, sitting down. Exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Beautiful. Exhale. Gorgeous. Take your hands, clasp them behind your back. Roll your shoulders back. Open up your chest here. Take 3 breaths. Gorgeous. And releasing the hands. So we're going to come right into our Utkatasana this time. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. And exhale, sitting in Utkatasana. Take your palms to your heart center. You could stay here if you like. Take 5 breaths. Maybe you want to keep the arms up to the sky. 2 more breaths. Beautiful. Inhale and exhale. Forward folding over those legs. Gorgeous. Inhale to flat back. We'll go to a sun salutation or one. Hands to the floor. Step both feet back now behind you. Into plank pose. Take an inhale. Lift up through the low belly. Press the hand to the floor. And exhale, lowering down to the floor. Elbows hug the side body. Inhale. The heart open for cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Gorgeous. And if you'd like, you can stay here or inhale, right leg reaches up to the sky, stack the hips on top of one another. Beautiful. And reach that leg back behind you, take it to the floor. Other side perhaps. Inhale, left leg reaches up, stacking the hips. Make sure you're spreading the toes of the bottom foot. And exhale, taking that foot down to the ground. Gorgeous. Knees to the ground. Come into a nice child's pose. Gorgeous. And then from child's pose, inhale the arms up. Coming into downward facing dog. Making your way there. Inhale, right leg reaches up to the sky, and exhale, send it forward between the hands. Come onto the ball of the back foot. This is a pretty balancy pose here. So if taking that ball off taking the heel of the foot off the floor feels like too much, you could turn your heel down and take it down. Beautiful. Taking your hands to the hips for high lunge. Gorgeous. And we're going to flow here. Inhale, straighten through the front leg. Exhale, bend the knees. Inhale, straighten through the front leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Inhale. Beautiful. Exhale. 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. You feel that nice stretch in the left thigh. Inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Stay here. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Just warming up those beautiful muscles here. Breathe. And exhale, hands to the floor. You're going to step back to plank pose. You either come to downward facing dog or go through your vinyasa or take a child's pose or a water break. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. And when you're ready, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Gorgeous. Inhale, left leg reaches up to the sky, and exhale, send it forward to the top of the mat. Either stay on the ball of the back foot or turn that back heel down. Beautiful. Hips are pointing are parallel to one another. Inhale. You could take your hands onto your hips here. Inhale, straighten through the front leg. Exhale, knee over the ankle. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale, staying here. You can keep your hands here or inhale, arms reach up to the sky. Take a few breaths. Gorgeous. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back to plank pose. Either sit in child's pose, vinyasa, downward dog, your choice. Inhale. Meeting in downward facing dog when you're ready. Gorgeous. And from here, inhale, right leg reaches up to the sky, and exhale, pull the knee into the belly. Send the right foot to the top of the mat, and send the left foot to the top of the mat, coming into a nice forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, arms reach out and up overhead. Exhale, sit into Utkatasana, air chair pose. Beautiful. Take 2 more breaths here. Pull your belly towards the back of the spine and lengthen the tailbone down. Gorgeous. Rise on up. And if you're hot like me, take your hair back. Beautiful. Taking your feet hips distance apart or feet together. We're going to come into Utkatasana again. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky, and exhale, Utkatasana. Take 3 breaths here. Pull your belly towards the back of the spine. Tailbone is nice and long, creating space in the low back. 1 more breath in. Beautiful. Exhale, forward fold over the legs. You're doing great. Inhale to flat back, and exhale, hands to the floor, step back to plank pose. You can go through your vinyasa or whatever you want. Beautiful. Inhale. Left leg reaches up to the sky. You can stack the hips if you want here. Beautiful. Inhale, send that left foot forward. So now taking that back heel down to the ground for warrior 1. Heel toe your left foot out to the side to create some space. And rise on up. Hips should be pointed forward towards the front of your mat. And now from here, straighten through the front leg. Tailbone reaches down towards the floor. And exhale, knee goes over the ankle. Reaching through the back heel, pressing the back foot into the ground. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. And we'll take 5 breaths here. You can bring your palms together if you like. 3. Moving that knee over the ankle and reaching through the back heel. 4. Gorgeous. And 5. Exhale. Hands down to the floor. Step back. Either go through your vinyasa or child's pose or down dog. You might notice shifts in your vinyasa, like maybe you're getting a little bit deeper in certain poses, or maybe you're even feeling a little bit tired. So notice that and notice what you have to do in order for you to feel in sync with your breath and with yourself. Beautiful. Inhale, right leg reaches up to the sky. If you want to stack the hips, go for it. Exhale, pull the knee into the belly. Send that right foot to the top of the mat. Turn the back heel down, preparing for warrior 1. Spread through the front toes and inhale. Rise up to the sky. You can straighten that front leg first to get yourself situated here. Hips are pointed towards the front together. Catch your breath. And exhale, knee over the ankle. Take a few breaths here. You want to go anywhere between 3 and 5 breaths, at least in each pose. One more inhale. Beautiful. Exhale, hands down to the floor. Step back, go through your vinyasa. I'm going to take a little child's pose here. And take a sip of water. Because that's where I'm at right now. I just also want to look at the time. Good. Beautiful. So it's 10:46 right now, according to real time. Of course, you might be a little delayed. And I hope you're starting to feel more open right now. I know I am. Since I just started to sit in this position, I noticed that I'm feeling more open, which is good because then it means I'm going to have a good day. Cool. So from here, let's make our way back into downward facing dog if you're not there yet. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back. Gorgeous. Start to walk the feet towards the top of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold, soften your knees, send your hips down. Inhale, Utkatasana. Beautiful. And you can keep the hands up if you like. You can reach them forward and send those hips in the opposite direction. Palms can come together. And take 3 more breaths. Be nice and strong as you are. You can do this. Beautiful. Inhale. Rise on up. I like to shake the legs out of here a little bit. Okay. Let's come to the middle of the mat or wherever you feel really comfortable. We're going to do some standing poses right now. So you might want to have a chair handy for you or something that you can just kind of grab anytime you need to. So that's if you're practicing with a chair, if you're new to yoga, it's really helpful. Or you can just be okay with kind of falling out of a pose a little bit. But it also depends on how you're feeling medically and physically. So from here, now we just did cultivate a lot of energy. So let's take a moment here to root the feet, so to get connected with our place where we are right now. Spread through your toes. Press the balls of the feet into the ground, the heels of the feet into the ground, and start to squeeze the thighs together, lifting up the kneecaps, crown of the head reaching up towards the sky. Beautiful. Draw your shoulders up and back. Start to take the palms together in heart center and slow down your breath. You can start to fix your eyes on one point. We call that dristi, a non-moving object where we fix our gaze on. It helps us to focus, calm the mind. And it's kind of like this other thing that helps us to balance. So this lock, we call it in yoga, that will help us balance in the pose a little bit more. So you notice maybe if you rock out of the pose, maybe you've lost your gaze point, your dristi. Gorgeous. And now from here, let's take our feet together, but not completely together. Create a little bit of space there. And we're going to come into tree pose. Palms can come to, or the hands can come to the hips. Gaze at that one point, that dristi. And then we're going to start with the weight on the right leg. So I'm going to mirror you right now. Take the left knee out to the side, and the heel can come right to the ankle. Now you could stay here like a little kickstand. Notice your knee. If you're locking it, unlock that knee. Put a little tiny, so it could sometimes be like this, locked. Unlock it. Yeah, we want to create growth for energy to move through that and also muscle growth too. But locking is, it's going to stop the flow of energy. Beautiful. So staring at one point and then maybe taking the foot up to the shin. Stare at that one point. Maybe you can grab the ankle. It's okay if you start to wobble. Don't worry about it. And if you do, first of all, I've done it a million times. Don't worry about it. If you do, just focus in on your dristi. Be kind to yourself, loving words to yourself, and just notice where you need to find the balance. You can take that as an observation. Oh, I lean a lot on my outside of my foot. I lean a lot on the inside of my foot. So just notice. Beautiful. And then from here, lift your spine up nice and tall. Gorgeous. You can keep your hands on your hips for grounding or bring the palms together for heart center. or maybe reach the hands up to the sky, continuing to keep your eyes locked on your drishti. Move that left knee out to the side here. Start to press the left foot into the thigh, thigh into the foot, and breathe. We're going to take about 3 to 5 more breaths here. Notice how your ankle feels. It may feel like it's getting a workout right now. Since we're not walking as much, perhaps. Or maybe you're walking even more. I don't know. Maybe doing some mountain climbing. Beautiful. Take another inhale and exhale. Hands come down. Float that foot down to the floor and shake out the right ankle. Gorgeous job. Just staying in it is the most important thing. Not staying in the pose, but staying with yourself and the practice of getting there. The pose is just a result. We don't need to worry about that. It's the journey of being in it and exploring getting to it. That's the good stuff. So from here, now you're going to switch to the other side. So sending your right knee out to the side. You're going to be balancing on your left foot now. Press your left toe into the ground. Spread through the feet. And keep your hands, or bring your hands to your hips here. Foot to the shin, or foot goes right into the thigh. Keep your eyes fixed on your non-moving object. Now your left side might be your more tricky side. So be okay with that if you feel more balanced on one side than the other. Beautiful. And keep guiding that right knee out to the side. Press the left thigh into the right foot. Maybe palms come to heart center. And reach up to the sky. Take a few breaths here. Eyes fixed on your drishti. This is a fun pose. You can actually do this anytime you want. And, challenge yourself. Maybe you say, oh, I'm going to stay here for a minute. Maybe I'm going to see how long I can stay here for, 30 seconds. Maybe 2 minutes. Beautiful. One more inhale, lengthen through your spine, and exhale. Hands come down, take the feet down to the ground. Shake out that ankle. Good job. All right, come to the center of your mat and start to walk your feet out to the sides. Beautiful. Bring your hands to your hips and bring your toes to point towards the sides of your mat. Inhale. Lengthen your spine nice and long. Exhale. And coming into warrior poses, turn your right toes towards the front of your mat or the back, whatever position you're in. Beautiful. Spread through your toes, front toes and back toes. Inhale, lengthen your spine, and exhale, knee over the ankle. Extend through the arms here. Beautiful. Inhale, straighten through the front leg, palms come together. Exhale, knee over the ankle. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Exhale, knee over the ankle, and gaze here for 3 breaths over the fingers here. Reaching through the back heels, feel the feet rooting into the earth. Feel those beautiful thighs opening up here. Lifting up through the kneecap of the back leg. Beautiful. Inhale, reach forward, turn your right palm up, and lift up and back to peaceful warrior. Exhale, forearm comes to the thigh for side angle pose. And so now we're making this beautiful line from the edge of the back foot all the way through the tips of the left fingertips. Beautiful, nice long spine here. Pull your belly towards the back of the spine and lengthen through the side waist. Beautiful. Inhale, rise on up, straighten through your front leg, reach forward, forward, forward. Right hand comes to the shin, and inhale, left arm reaches up to the sky. If you'd like, you can use a block here. It may not make a big difference, honestly, but you're not really so much leaning on the block or the shin. You want to still feel that lifting energy from the left hand. Nice long spine. This just made me totally miss teaching my yoga classes and being with all my beautiful yogi friends. Beautiful. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, shoulders come down, parallel your feet. And we're going to turn the left toes towards the back of the room. Gorgeous. Heels are going to be in line with each other here. And then the hips are coming out to the side. Beautiful. Inhale, straighten through the front leg, extend the arms, and exhale, knee over the ankle. Inhale, this time let's bring the hands up, straighten through the front leg. Exhale. Inhale, rising energy, lift up your spine, and exhale. Beautiful. Gazing over your fingers here, take a few breaths. Lifting, draw your arms out to the side, reach them out more, opening up your chest here. One more inhale. Beautiful. Exhale. Take your arm up and back behind you, peaceful warrior. Take an inhale here and exhale. Forearm comes to the ground. Right arm reaches up and over. Beautiful. Extending through the edge of the back foot all the way through the fingertips. Take an inhale, lengthen, exhale. Another inhale here, and exhale. Inhale, rise all the way up. Beautiful. Straighten through your front leg and reach forward, forward, forward. Your hands can come to the shin or the block. If it's on the shin, still not pressing onto the shin. We're lifting up with that top arm. Lengthen your spine. Make sure you're not slouching, so notice what's going on in your body here. Take a few breaths. Beautiful. Inhale. Rise on up to warrior two. Soften the arms down, parallel the feet, and heel toe the feet together. Shake out the legs here. Woo! Now we got to get down on the floor soon, but I do want to do one more standing pose before we get there. So taking your feet hips distance apart, we're going to come into Gurudasana. So this is going to help you create some space away from the sacroiliac spine, the sacrum. I'm having a little issue with that one. So creating some space. If you felt some tightness in the sacrum, this pose may feel really good for you or really help that. But also another pose which is really good for that is it's called a double pigeon, which I'll talk about that. It's a very challenging one, but we'll talk about that after. Okay, so from here, spreading through your feet, soften your knees, start to bend them. Take your weight onto your left leg. Now, I usually don't like to say that because the teacher told me it's probably not a good idea. And she's right. So just kind of not shift your weight, but try to get some strength in your left leg. Hands to your hips. Bring your right leg over your left leg. Again, I'm mirroring you here. Now, the feet can come together, come to the edge of the leg here, or you can bring your foot to the floor. Or you can wrap that foot around, start to send those hips down. Beautiful. And you can stay here, maybe palms together. Maybe take that right arm forward, left arm on top, and backs of the hands can touch, or you wrap around, start to sink here. Take a few breaths. Feel your thighs squeezing in towards one another, and gaze at a dristi, a non-moving object. Take 3 more breaths. Lift up your heart a little bit here. Lifting up those elbows. Beautiful. And release it. Unravel yourself. And we'll shift to the other side. Shake out the body here. Gorgeous. And now, switching to your right leg or the opposite leg. Soften your knees and take your left leg across. Maybe the foot stays onto the floor. And then you could wrap everything. Left arm on the bottom, right arm on top. Maybe you'd like to wrap that foot around. So finding a non-moving object, sinking at your hips, taking a few breaths here. Lift up your elbows, squeeze your thighs together. Gorgeous. And release out of it. Great job. Shake it out. Beautiful. We'll come right on down to the ground. I want to show you that challenging pose, double pigeon, that helps if you have pressure in the sacrum. So I've actually experienced a release from some pressure on my right side of my sacrum, which I have occasionally gotten because of my scoliosis. And I did this pose. Oh, felt so amazing. But it is a challenging pose because it's kind of wacky in the hips. So actually, let's open up the hips a little bit more first. First, we'll sit in a nice Sukhasana easy pose. You can have 1 foot behind, 1 foot forward. Sit up nice and tall. Take a few breaths here. Just feeling those hips open. Seeing if you can relax at the hip creases. And we'll come into feet together for bound angle pose. Now, if this feels super, like if your legs are coming down, but they're not coming down enough for you, if it starts to hurt, feels like weight, you could take your block and protect your knees here and your hips by just keeping it there and just allowing the hips to soften here. That might feel comfortable for you. Beautiful. Grabbing onto the ankles, inhale, lengthen your spine. You could stay here if this feels comfortable or start to hinge at your hips, long spine, reaching your chest forward. Take an inhale, exhale, softening at the hips. Maybe the elbows will eventually go in front of the thighs. Take another inhale, lengthen your heart forward. Exhale. If you'd like to, you can soften the back of the neck now. If you're very flexible, you can start to reach your hands forward. I, for one, am feeling pretty tight right now. Take a few breaths. Gorgeous. And start to roll up the spine if you're lying down. Take your legs out in front of you for a quick staff pose. Take your palms onto the floor to the sides of you. Press your hands into the ground and lift up your spine. Flex through your toes. Engage the tops of the thighs here. Beautiful. And release. We're going to come into pigeon pose now. So from here, you can either start your pigeon pose coming into downward facing dog, or if you're sitting on the floor, you can just take your right leg forward, knee to the ground, and bring that shin forward and start to reach that left leg back. So you could just come for there, or if you're in downward facing dog, knee to the floor and bring that left ankle to the left hand. Gorgeous. From here, inhale, and maybe starting on the forearms until you bring yourself all the way down towards the ground. You can come right onto your hands here. And we're going to stay here, releasing that right hip. So maybe you want to put your head on a block. I like to keep the shoulders nice and loose here. So if you're in this pose where you're in your forearms, let yourself slump a little bit here. And if your hands are on the floor or if you come all the way down, let your elbows splay out to the side. Don't take them close to the body. Let them splay out to the side. And take a few breaths here. Sending your breath, sending love and energy into your right hip. Any areas that feel tense right now, tight. Maybe you need to send the breath into your low back or your glutes. It might start to feel a little bit tense. And if that happens, start to breathe into that area and start to ask that area to release. So the only caution I would tell you is if you're having a lot of pain in your knee, I would tell you to try to come out of this pose. So if you're having pain in the knee, which is not where this pose is supposed to release, then I would say come out of this pose. If you're just feeling some tightness in the hip, you should be good. Of course, listen to your body and know what you're comfortable with, what medically you're comfortable with. Beautiful. Take 3 more breaths. Gorgeous. Hands underneath the shoulders. Rise on up. Now you can come right back into your downward dog and do this the same way. Or you can take that left leg forward and then reach the right leg back. Take your hands to the floor to shift so that the hips are parallel to one another. And you scooch that left ankle up to as high as it feels comfortable. Taking the hands down to the floor, you're going to figure out what feels comfortable for you. You can start off high, go lower when your body says it's okay, when your hip says it's okay. And enjoying this nice stretch here. Breathing into your left hip. And of course, as I was saying before, you might notice emotions come up. That's okay. Just notice that those are just there to be coming up because they're there to be cleansed. They're rising to be cleansed, to be released, so that they don't continue to create toxic energy inside of you and tension. Softening and releasing. If your mind starts to wander to a place you don't want it to go, you can bring your attention back to your breath. And we'll take 3 more beautiful breaths here. Gorgeous. And rising on up. Beautiful. You could take that back leg forward. Okay. So we've opened up the hips in pigeon pose. Now that is more of an intermediate pose, but I also feel like it works well with beginners too. This pose that we're going to do right now is more of an intermediate to advanced. So don't worry about if it feels like this is not for your body, notice it and don't do it. But I just want to show you this pose so that if it feels good for you, you can use it. So this is kind of called a fire log pose. You're stacking, or I like to call it double pigeon. You're stacking the legs on top of one another. The knees are bent, and you could start off with whatever side you want. I'm starting off with my right leg on the bottom. Take your left ankle on top. And then this is just going to float for me because this is how my hips work. This is how high they float, okay? But then when I start to lean forward a little bit, maybe put my hands to the ground, it starts to come down a little bit more. And that's just how my body works. And then you start to notice what you feel. Maybe you feel if it feels like too much in the hips and the low back. If it feels like too much, stay up high. If it's starting to feel good, try it out. But I just wanted to show you this option so that if you can find some release with this pose for the if you're having some sacroiliac tension where it hurts, where the sacrum and the iliac spine seems to hurt in that little space there, which can happen sometimes. So coming into that, maybe letting your head go, We'll take a few breaths here. Beautiful. Start to walk it back. And then switch to the other side. Now notice if your leg is popping out like that, maybe you gently guide this thigh down. Don't press too hard on the knee. Anytime the knee is hurting you, pull back, because that's not what the purpose is of really any pose to hurt your knee. You really don't stretch the kneecap. The muscles of the thigh, yeah, but you don't stretch the kneecap here. Beautiful. So you could stay up, take a few breaths, maybe leaning forward, hinging at your hips, not rounding at the back, walking the hands forward, and breathing. Beautiful. And then walking it back if you're forward folded and releasing. So, of course, you can use that pose. If it feels comfortable for you, you can stay in it, 30 seconds. If you start to really build up a practice in it, you can stay longer. But, put that one in your toolbox. And we're going to come down to the floor. I know we're kind of going over, a lot over today. We're going to come down to the floor and come into lying on your back. Bring the knees to the chest, grab the ankles, and come into this nice happy baby pose. So letting the knees come towards the side. Beautiful. And then you can rock around back and forth just to get some massage for the spine. Maybe start to guide the tailbone down towards the floor. Beautiful. And bring the legs together. Reach the feet up to the sky. Feeling a beautiful rush of circulation come down towards the body. You can see one leg on me is longer than the other because of my scoliosis. Or maybe it's because I have one leg longer than the other. Beautiful. And grab the backs of your thighs, feet to the ground. Take your legs out to the sides of your mat. Turn your palms up. Take an inhale. Draw the shoulder blades close to one another as you lift up through the chest. And exhale, soften. Melting down into the floor for Shavasana. Feeling the practice now. Just feeling all the beautiful work that you did in the practice. This beautiful energy that you created in your body. Noticing that connection between the body and the mind and spirit. So sometimes we get too much in our thoughts. We start to kind of float away with our thoughts. Maybe we're sitting on a chair somewhere just daydreaming for a long time, getting away from our body. And doing these asana, these yoga poses, can help us connect our spirit back to our body. Noticing your breath. Relaxing every part of your body, the feet, the legs, the thighs, the hips. You might notice a little bit more energy in the hip spaces, front, the sides, the backs of the hips. Releasing the shoulders to the ground, arms in. Softening the muscles of your face. Beautiful. Let's start to wiggle out the toes and the fingers, awakening our body. And stretch those arms up overhead. Reach from fingertip to toe. Exhale, come over onto your left side. Or your right side. With your eyes closed, press your top arm into the ground, your top hand into the ground, and come up to a nice seated position. Bring your palms together to heart center. Give yourself a nice smile for coming to your practice today. And I thank you so much for coming to your practice today, because I just knew you're going to feel good afterwards. Beautiful. And we'll inhale for the sound of Om. Inhaling. The light in me is honored by the light in you. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today in this yoga hip opening. So I hope you feel more grounded. I hope you feel centered. I hope you feel more open, especially in your hips. Now would be a great time to put on your mask, your gloves, whatever you need to do. Go out and take a walk, drink some water, just enjoy beautiful, hopefully good weather that we might be having right now. Or even just to maybe take some time to journal. You know, what did you experience throughout your practice today? You know, or dance. My husband's dancing over there. He's dancing, and he doesn't think I'm going to tell everybody that he's dancing like a doofus right now. Okay. So, I just bleeped myself out. So, if you joined us today and you were able to stay, that just happened. My daughter has crazy parents. Okay, so if you just joined us, you're too late. It's a rewind. No, if you joined us today, say hi. I want to know that you joined us, and write down like what. Oh gosh. And write down like, if you did the practice today, how you feel, and send me a message. You guys can contact me any way you want. Positive stuff if you're going to put it like in, don't put me on blast, but you can send me a message and blast me there. If you have any any comments that you want to say. Like, I'd like to see more of this. I'd like to do less of this. Maybe you can be quiet while I'm doing yoga. I'm just kidding. But, yeah, leave me a comment. Leave us a comment at Be in the World Yoga. And, of course, Judy's there. Hi, Judy. Good morning. And I hope you enjoyed the practice today. We went a little bit long today. But, I've got to tell you, every time I'm doing my yoga practice, I picture the faces of the people that I've done yoga with for like 2.5 years with at the YMCA. And so, I mean, it's just wonderful. If you have the opportunity, especially when this is over, to build a community, to be a part of a community and do yoga with those people, you just grow to know them and love them. Then they become a part of your life. Of course, I'm very lucky because the people that I teach yoga with, I say with because we do yoga together. It's not just me like, I'm the teacher. We do, and we learn, and we grow together. And if you have the opportunity to find that community and just, hold on to them. I mean, sometimes it's what helps you to get you to class every single day. So, what? My husband's telling me something. Right now? Oh, okay. So, okay. So, anyway, namaste. Leave me a message. Tell me I'm a blabbermouth if you want. All right, and subscribe to us at beintheworldyoga.com. And namaste. And since I can't do two things at once, I'm going to look at the messages when we're off of live. So namaste. Have a beautiful day.